Yeah. So as you can see that I have my jars, selenium jars. I'm using selenium 3. Uh, so I have a selenium jar and selenium source. Uh, I'll be showing you what's the use of the selenium SRCS later. But first, let's uh, add this selenium jar to our build path. So I had this before, so I'm going to delete it, remove, and now I am going to just click on add jars, and I have this in my jars. So I will use this, apply and close. So as you can see, we have now a selenium jar and in our project, and guys, one more library we'll have to add, which is TESTNG. So how are you going to do that? The same process. Go to build path. Now add library. Here you can find TESTNG. Next, finish, apply and close. Now this error, now see, it is giving me a solution that import this in order to fix this error. So I'll import this. Now this error is gone. So now we can use the methods and classes in TestNG. So what we are going to do is write an assert that equals. I'm going to just 1 and 2, and you can see that I am purposely doing this to fail this test case, right? And similarly, I'm going to write another test. So I'm just the fitness of time. I'm going to copy it and give it any name that you want. I'm just giving any name. This doesn't make any sense. Now this assert is testing the actual and expected. This test case will pass because actual and expected are same. Now again, we're gonna write another test case. Just give it name 3. And here, what we are gonna do is skip this test case. So how we are gonna do that? We have a class called skip exception. So we are gonna throw that exception class and skip this test case. So you can see you can control plus space bar, and you can see there are many options. So I'll choose the first one. So this is what I want, and just type any message you want, like I am in, or this test case is gonna skip. Save it. Now just let's see what results this class gives. So I'll just run it, run as test ng test. Yeah, so you can see that there are 3 test cases: failures 1, skips 1, and passes 1. Okay, so this is going as per plan. So now what we are doing here is learning the concept of listeners. So Since this test case fails, I want to do something like take a screenshot of the test case or the result, or do something like do some action, or like send an email to your colleague working on the same project or anything. Similarly, the test case this is passed. So on passing, I'm going to do something. So again, some action is required on the depending on the result. And similarly with this, if any test case skips, then what we gonna do now? See, I have created this listener class. So what we are gonna do is that there is a listener to have a listener class. What we are gonna do is implement, since uh let's see, there is a I test listener. Now this is an interface. That's why we are importing it. Yeah. So we can import this. We can see the red line. So this is an error. So we can import iTest listener from TestNG. This is what we're going to do. And now, uh, we don't know as it is. Uh, Here we can see that there are no methods. What we can do and how we can know that what all methods we have in iTest listener. We can in Eclipse right click, go to source and override implement methods here, and iTest listener here, and then click OK. So this is going to give me all the methods that need to be overridden. Okay, so on test start, this is on test start means before every test case executes, this method will run. Okay, so on test success means on passing of every test case, if a test case is successful, then this method will automatically be called. Again, on test failure, these are self-explanatory, like the names. On test failure, the failure of a test case will result in calling of this method. Okay. Next one is test skip. Again, if a test case is skipped, this method will be called. We don't have to look into this at the moment because we are just learning the basics of listeners. So we can avoid it, and we can learn about it later on. This and this on test failed with timeout, and this one. Okay, so we can uh, just avoid it. We can also we cannot delete it because every method needs to be implemented. Even we need to write it, even we don't write anything inside the code, but we have to give the structure. So I'm just gonna, yeah, so this is not gonna give me any error. So what and this on start is for the project level. Suppose uh, there are many classes. Suppose there are many classes. I have written only one class, demo class here. Suppose there are many classes here. So on start means once the execution starts of your test cases, uh, then this method will run. Okay, and on finish means once all the test cases. This is before all the test cases on start, and on finish is after all the test cases are finished. This method will be called. So what I'm going to do is to make it a little simpler. I am gonna write something easy so that could be understood. So let's see. On test failure, on test success. I'm gonna just comment these. So let's write SOP here. You can write a message which can easily be understood on test success. Again, for test failure. Bear with me, guys. This is my first video, so I'm a little slow here. I know I can feel it, but bear with me. I will be better than this next time. Again, so on test failure, we will write test failed. On test skipped, show a message. Test skipped. As you said that these methods we don't have to look at it, or these two methods we don't have to look at them at the moment, but we will look at it later. Now this is important. Test execution started. Okay, okay. All test cases finished. Save it. Now, these are two different classes, right? Listener class and then this demo class. How we make sure that we connect these two? Now, there is a concept of TESTNG XML. I'll make a separate video for that, but just assume that we all know TESTNG XML. I'm just assuming that you all know since you are learning listener. I'm just presuming that you all know what TESTNG XML. I will create a different video for it for TESTNG XML for beginners. I will create a series for Selenium and TESTNG and Java from beginning. But this is just I thought that we should learn listeners today. So I'm just making this video. Uh, so how can we create a TestNG XML for any project? Right click on the project, TestNG, convert to TestNG. Finish. You will see a new TestNG XML file is generated. See, this is the TestNG XML file. Now, this demo class is the class that we created here. Okay. Now, how can we connect the listener class to this demo class? Which is very easy. Just write listeners, then now what we have to do is write the name of the class. Save it. Now just make sure that you okay. Now we have connected it. Now let's see run the class and let's see what happens. You can run it from here, or you can go on this demo class and run it. Let's see. Run as TESTNG. So guys, I made a mistake here. Uh, we had uh, written only the name of the class, but we have to add the package also before the class. So once this is done, what we can do, we can go ahead and run this testng XML. How we gonna do that? Right click on the testng, run as testng suite. Now let's see what the result is. Okay, we have got our result. So this is the result set that we have got, and this result set is on the basis of the outcome of the test cases that we have written. So let's go to demo class. Now see what is happening here. Test execution started. This is coming from the onStart method. This is coming from the onStart method. Now test started. On test start. This is coming from on test start. And as we discussed earlier, this will uh, this method will be called every time our test case runs. So see, for the first one, test failed. Okay. Again, the method on started, and then it skipped. Which one? This one. Now what happens is, uh, by default, uh, these test cases run alphabetically. So check values, after check values, alphabetically check values 3 comes, not check value 2, because see, for check values t, for check values t, both are same. After that, here 2 w comes and here h comes. So h comes first. So this method will run before this method, before this method. So this method ran and test skipped. Again, on start method, and then test successful. Which one? This one. Text last one is this one. And after that, which method ran? After all that, on finish. See, I'll just give you the name, actual name of the method. On finish. This is ran, all test cases finished. I'll try to, yeah. So test execution started. Where this is coming from? Test execution started on start for the project. Before all the classes, before all the test cases, I have written only one class and 3 methods in there. But even if I had like 5 classes, this method will be called before everything. Okay, before every class. So test execution started. This is the first, and then test started. Where is test started? On test start. See, so this method will run after, before, just before every test cases. So I think that I have explained you what listener is. Listener is basically, just to summarize, uh, depending on the outcome, depending on the result of the test cases, if you have to perform anything, then we have this interface called iTest listener. We have to implement it and we have to write code whatever you want. So we have written here only CISO uh, SOP statements, but here you can write your code, what you want to do if test is successful. what you want this method to do. You can write the code here. We have just written SOP, but this, as I said, this is just a beginner's video. Just to explain what is listener, I have just written SOP. Otherwise, you can write a big code here, okay, or whatever the your project demands on successful execution of a test case, and similarly failure and skip and all. So this is what listener is, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.